Hey guys, I'm Deepthi Desikan, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about makeup that fetches me the most amount of compliments. This could be like people when they see me in person, or even just you when you watch my videos, and a lot of you guys compliment me for a certain makeup. So I think that this really does mean something, because if you can figure out some makeup like through camera, it's a big deal. Like if it's looking really nice, and also like in person some makeup looks really good and flawless. So those are the products I'm going to be talking to you guys about, and I think this will help you, right, like in making a good decision of what makeup actually looks good. And who doesn't love a little bit of compliment? So anyways, before I get started, I want to mention that I don't have all of those makeup products on my face today, because I did like use all of these products to film this video another day, and then I got really like tired and sick, so I couldn't film that video. So I'm sitting down today to film while I'm actually a little bit drowsy because of the medicines. Anyways, let's get started. The first product is, I get the most amount of compliments for my dewy base. Okay, one is I use a really good moisturizer, like the Bioderma moisturizer or the minimalist moisturizer for dry skin. I don't have it right here, but that is one moisturizer I use a lot, like pre-makeup moisturizer, because it gives a really nice glow, be it the Bioderma one or the minimalist one. And then I like to use something like this, like the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth Primer. This is a really nice primer. It's a very moisturizing primer. It's very hydrating on the skin as well, and it just adds a beautiful glow to your skin, but not something that is very shimmery or anything of that sort. It just adds a really nice glow. So if you are someone with very dry skin, I think you would really like this primer. So when you use any foundation on top of this, it does tend to retain a little bit of that dewiness as well. So I really like this. And another product that I tend to use, not quite often, like not when it's very hot or when it's summer months, but during the winter months, is this one. Just a tiny drop of the Color Bar Cellular Dry Oil just makes your base look really nice and dewy, just glowy. So this is also one product that whenever I've used in conjunction with a really good hydrating primer, I have received a lot of compliments on how dewy and glowy my base makeup looks. So you don't really get compliments like oh, the primer you've used is really good, but when people ask you, okay, why is your foundation looking so beautiful and glowy, most of the times it is also the skin prep and the primer and everything that attributes to that. So the next product that is sure gonna fetch you some really good compliments is this one. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I of course love this product, and I've used it a ton, and I know that it's a really good product. But when I use this underneath my foundation in person, so many people have complimented how my skin looks, how my base looks, how my foundation looks, and be like, okay, they're genuinely curious, like what is there under this foundation that's making her skin look like this, or is it the foundation itself, or is it some other product? And most of the times it is this one. And it's not just on my skin type. I have used this on mature skin as well. My mom-in-law, and I was like decking her up for an event, and I just wanted to use this and see how it looks on someone of like a much mature skin type than I was, and it looked so good on her as well. Her skin was glowing, and she was like, what is this product? So that's how this product makes your foundation look. You can use this on its own as well. Like on its own, it does give a little bit of a glow. It's beautiful, but it's not very pigmented or super tinted, so you wouldn't know much. But when you use a foundation on top of this, that's when you appreciate this product so much more. You can also use this on the high points of your cheek. It looks like the most natural looking highlighter. Now, like if I have to get ready, I tend to reach out for this so much, but it is so expensive. I'm scared I will run out of it as well. So I tend to use it much more sparingly and try to use up all of my other products as well. But I genuinely tend to reach out for this so much. And some foundations that have got me the most amount of compliments, I have to talk to you guys about these. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush. Oh, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Foundation. This, you guys, oh my god, like you wouldn't appreciate it as much like if you were to just see it on my face in the demo on camera or anything. But if you were to meet me in person, you would really appreciate the way this one looks on my skin. Okay, it just looks so good. Just a very tiny amount of this product is enough for your entire face. It gives pretty good coverage, so that's how even the brand recommends to use this. You don't have to use a lot of products, so one full pump is more than sufficient for your entire face, and it also gives you good medium coverage. And it just looks like skin, and it doesn't really like emphasize any kind of texture on my face. It doesn't look artificial on my face. It just looks like second skin, but my skin but better kind of a foundation, and such a good product. And I was so happy that I invested in this. I know it is again pricey. I'm not sure if Nykaa has restocked all of the shades, but even over the newer foundation, the one that comes in the tube, I like this one. That is pretty good as well. But you know, blending that foundation and everything is a little bit tricky, but this one I blend it with a brush most of the times. It works really well. You can use it with a sponge as well. And even if you tend to use a little more product, it doesn't look cakey or heavy on the skin, whereas that one is a little bit of a thicker consistency. So I've had my fair share of trouble with that. I'm still trying to like get the hang of that foundation, but this is the one that I genuinely love among both of the foundations. And oh my god, such a good product. Again, used it on so many different skin types, and I have loved it on every single skin type I've used it on. And a blend of these two products, so good. I tend to use it on a couple of different skin types to see, okay, what looks good on which skin type, not just on me, because on my skin by now I know what suits me, what doesn't suit me. You know, my skin type, I know it. It's like normal to dry skin, and I don't really have a lot of like pigmentation. I do have a little bit of pigmentation, I do have a little bit of texture, but nothing that is too much. So I know exactly what works for my skin. So when I'm recommending this, I also want to like try it out on different skin types. So again, I've tried it on mature skin. I absolutely love it. I have tried it on people with oily skin. I did like it. I haven't tried that foundation on people with a lot of texture on their skin, so I'm not able to like recommend that for textured skin. But if you have like pits or dry patches, I'm not sure how that foundation works. And then another foundation that gets me a lot of compliments is this PAC HD liquid foundation. I have talked to you guys about this foundation so many times. I have used this on so many different occasions. This again doesn't look like an affordable foundation at all. This seems like an expensive foundation, and it just blends beautifully. I don't think that there is one skin type that this foundation wouldn't work out for. So this is again really good. I don't really have a demo of this foundation in this video, but I have talked about it so many times, demoed it so many times. And then of course my Rene face base foundation. Every single time I wear this on camera, a lot of you guys ask me, why is your foundation looking so dewy? So it is mostly like this primer and a little bit of a dewy base, but it's also this product. It has a little bit of a dewiness to it. The shade match is not perfect for me. The shade range is again not good, but I really like the way this one looks on my skin. It looks like, you know, again, second skin. It's not like the most pigmented product. It's not like very thick in consistency, but it just blends seamlessly on my skin. So I absolutely love this. And I also find this packaging to be so convenient to travel with. And then the last foundation, my Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This again looks like second skin. It has a nice dewiness to it. It is something that looks flawless on the skin as well. And again, different people have different priorities, and if you don't want to spend that much on a foundation, you can try this out. Compared to a lot of high-end foundations, this one is a little bit more reasonably priced, and you can always find Too Faced on really good discount on Nykaa. So if you wanted to try out this foundation again, you will get that skin-like finish, very beautiful finish on the skin, and it has good coverage. And this again, I think works for all skin type. You don't really have to get the matte foundation just because you're oily skin. I think this would work for all skin types, give you a really good finish. And again, if you are a bride, it looks good, photographs really well. And again, if you don't want to spend that much on this, you can try out the Rene Face Base, the PAC HD foundation. They are just as good. I've talked about these in so many videos because I love them that much. Now, concealer as such, I don't really get any compliments like, oh, your concealer looks good. What is that you have under your eye? But I feel like I appreciate my concealer a lot more when I use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, because this has really good coverage. It doesn't really like crease under my eye. It doesn't settle onto the lines of my under eye area. I can use this for correcting the pigment on my face as well. Although the shade Sand sometimes is a little bit light. Like if I have like a little bit of pigmentation on a certain day, I can't use this all over my face because this is a little bit light. But I do use this under my eye, and I like the coverage. The way it sits on my under eye area is just seamless. And then coming to blush. Now, I, for the longest time, didn't expect anybody to give me like compliments on my blush, because it's something that I thought it was very normal. But I have started to reach out for blushes so much more now, and I've started to appreciate the way it looks on my skin, and I've really been loving these blushes. So this one is the Makeup Revolution Super Dewy Blush. So this is such a good shade. Okay, this is in the shade Keep Me, You Got Me Blushing, I think. Yeah. And this is like a nudie mauve kind of a shade, and it's not something that's very, very light. So if you are of a deeper skin tone, again, this will show up on you. Maybe you do need a little bit more of a building up to do. And it's not the most pigmented blush, like in one shot, like intense pigmentation, nothing like that. It's a very buildable formula. So it depends on how you like your blush to be, and you can build on it just that way. It looks so good with a subtle hint of dewiness to it. So nice. And every single time I wear this, I even get a lot of comments asking like, what is that blush that you have? And then also the Renee Lip and Cheek Tint. This one is in the shade Pandora Pink. I really like this because it has a really nice dewy finish to my cheek. It looks really good. Like, let me show you guys. Again, I do have a demo of it, but again, I will demo it here. It's not too much. It's again a very buildable formula, but it looks so good on the skin. I really like this. And also same goes with the Makeup Revolution blush as well. And then another like powder blush of late that I have received quite a few compliments is for this Makeup Revolution Blush Duo and Highlighter. This one is in the variant I think called Kindness. I'm not sure. They don't list it out like in a way where you can find out, but it's mentioned here and along with the price tag. This is such a nice shade, and it's not too much. Okay, it looks so seamless when you apply it on your face. Like, look at that. Wow, this is not a blush. Clearly I'm struggling with it, and I'm so lazy to change up the brush because I end up washing all of this. I don't want to dirty all of my brush. Look at that. Such a nice nude blush for everyday use. Even the highlighter is really good. It's like not too powdery, but it could be better. You know, it's subtle. It would work for a lot of different people, but my favorite in this duo is the blush because of the way it looks on my skin. Such a beautiful nude blush that is matte. Why did I say blush? There's such a beautiful nude blush that is matte. It's subtle, but it's not clinging on to my skin differently or anything because it's matte. You know, sometimes how much matte is too matte. I'm not sure how many skin tones would like this. They have a couple of different variants, but this one is my favorite. Absolute favorite. And then now speaking about highlighter, this one particular highlighter gets me a lot of compliments because it looks wet on my skin, but it's not too intense, and it just looks very natural. And people who don't even know about like makeup, highlighter will compliment and appreciate you. They'll be like, whatever, that glow looks good. That's how this highlighter is. This is Nykaa Strobe and Glow highlighter. This one is in the shade Glazed Bronze. I have talked about this so many times. I did get this product a while back. Okay, it's not a new purchase or anything, but I've started to appreciate it a lot more recently, like about a year ago, and I've not been able to put this one down. So every single time I want like a very, very, very natural highlight. It's very thick. Okay, it's not like you can squeeze it out or anything. This dropper is just pretty much like waste. So I take a little bit on the back of my hand, very little amounts of it, because you want to make it appear a lot more natural. So see, you get so much product, and then apply it very, very gently and blend it. Look at that. So sometimes I like to pull it a little bit more towards the inner corner of my cheek. And then, so when you move your face, you can see that little bit of like highlight, that wet glow. That's how amazing this looks. And then another one, this is actually a body highlighter. I do occasionally use it on my face and my body, and this again, glow is that intense. It is beautiful. It's not just highlight, it has that little bit of like that wet looking moisturizing feel to it as well. So even on your body, it looks really nice. This is discontinued. This one is the Becca Ignite liquefied highlighter. I have this one in the shade creativity. So when Becca was like, you know, discontinuing all of these products, this was on discount, and that's when I picked it up, and I don't regret it at all. I do use just a tiny amount of this on my face, and it's just the most intense highlighter. You can use this on your body as well, and I am preserving that. I'm treasuring it so much because I don't know when or if ever I will be able to find it again. So this is how it looks. You see that? Just the most, you know, you just don't need a lot, just a tiny bit of it. Oh, blending this with fingers is hard. I need a brush. Now on the face, I must agree that it's not the most natural looking highlighter. Like if you wanted something very natural and subtle, you wouldn't really like this, because it does have a lot of shimmer particles, pretty visible, because it's also like, it's a body highlighter. But I like to use a tiny amount of it on my face, and I just like that glow that it gives. You know, keep turning your face everywhere the light can catch. Look like a fool. And then, yeah, contour bronzer, never received any compliments for it. I don't think people even notice it because of the amount of it that I use, a very, very subtle amount of it. So I don't really have any of those to talk to you guys about in this video. And then and then an eyeshadow palette, okay? I never received compliments for my brows and all, because I don't have the best eyebrows. It's not even groomed, it's not even shaped well. But for eyeshadow, every single time I use any shade from the Huda Beauty Retrograde eyeshadow palette, ooh, people are curious, because look at the shades. First of all, it is so nice. They have nice pastel bright shades, they have like your subtle gold shades, and the shimmer on this one, it just actually sparks up, it actually shows up. It's not a very subtle shimmer shade. So these shimmers, like anything from this palette, they're just so good. So good. Look at that. Look at the reflex. So this is a good palette. I hope they don't dry down in the long run, because that is something I have faced with a lot of Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes. Like in the long run, the shimmer shades become a little bit too like rough, and the matte shades harden in the palette. They don't show up as well as they did initially. So I just hope that's not the case with this. Moving on to lips. Of course, I have so many shades to talk to you about. The Swiss Beauty lipstick in the shade Bronze. I'm not sure if you can still find it. I think Flipkart had a couple of lipsticks. I'm not sure if they still have it. This shade, this was recommended to me by my subscriber, and then I recommended it to you guys, and a lot of you loved it. This is such a nice shade to wear, okay, even on a daily basis. Even if you have like very intense eye makeup or anything, it just ties along very well with most eye looks, with most outfits and makeup looks. Such a nice shade this is, and I really like the formula of this. The newer Swiss Beauty lipstick, like the non-transfer lipstick, it's not my favorite. It comes in that dark brown packaging, like the similar kind of packaging. It's not my favorite. This one is, however, so good, and in my opinion, this is like the most amazing affordable lipstick formula I've tried out, because it's very long wearing, it's comfortable on the lips, very pigmented as well. And then another shade is the Lakme liquid lipstick in the shade Mocha Shot. So this has like that brown hint with a little bit of red and orange to it as well. I have had people ask me like, what is that shade? So it doesn't look too intense, but it also looks like a really nice nudish kind of a shade. So when you don't want your lipstick shades to overpower your look, you can try this out, because it's not too subtle, it wouldn't wash you out, but it also has the right undertones to it. And I really like the formula of this. I find it to be very comfortable on my lips, very pigmented, very long wearing. Actually, I've worn this for so many days, like from morning all the way, like early in the morning to late at night, with a little bit of touch up, and it just stays really well. It can be slightly drying, like most lipsticks do tend to dry your lips out by the end of the day, but I'm okay with that. I have the Mars lip crayon in the shade Girl Power right now on my lips. Such a nice shade, okay? It has the right terracotta undertones to it. It's very pigmented, very long wearing, slightly drying on the lips because it's super matte, and it doesn't transfer at all. So such a nice product. I think a lot of you guys have got this one on my recommendation, because I get comments constantly that you have picked this up. Such a good purchase. And then the Color Bar lip crayon in the shade Devilry. So I got this one just because it was like the mini one, and every single time I have this one on in my videos, people are so curious as to what shade this is. I never expected it, because I thought it was a very common shade, but it has a little bit of that berry hints, but slightly leaning towards like the purple end of the spectrum. It's such a nice shade. If you can find the shade in stock, I hope they didn't discontinue it. Pick this up because it's so pigmented, so comfortable. Even the mini is just as pigmented as the full size lip crayons. It's a really good product. And then my e.l.f. Liquid lipstick in the shade Coffee. This Nykaa hasn't restocked for the longest time. I'm not sure why. I like these kind of shades where they are not your usual kind of like brown shades. This has a little bit of that cool toned mauvey brown hints to it. And I love these kind of shades that have a little bit of mauve and brown. And I think those are the ones that suit most of our complexions really well. And it also fetches you the most amount of compliments over like other shades. So this one is such a good one. Then when it comes to smelling good, a combination of these two would fetch you sure shot compliments. This one is the Iba liquid lipstick. Oh my god, Iba Perfect Pure Perfume Raindrops variant. Such an amazing aquatic fresh kind of a scent. Okay, very very similar to Davidoff Cool Water, the blue variant. And this one is a Nykaa perfume in leaving it right here. I cannot pronounce this. Okay, it's not my native language. It's hard for me. Okay, so this on its own might be a little bit like spicy, subtle spicy but aquatic for a lot of people, but a combination of these two are really good. And some people don't like this at all. So someone commented and mentioned like, I got this one on your recommendation, but it smells like little soap. I was like, what? Yeah, it does have that kind of like a soap kind of a scent to it, like that fresh feeling soap. But I don't find it to be repulsing. It's not something that smells cheap. It's not something that smells bad. So also this is a popular scent only. It's not just that I've loved it and not anyone else like it. A lot of people like it. I like it too. But the combination of these two, so good. So let me know in the comments down below what makeup products that you have used have fetched you the most amount of compliments, because I want that too. Who doesn't want compliments? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one.